Welcome to Webinar Wednesday, everyone. This is your first time joining us. It's great to have you with us. I am Jason here on the left, and we are very lucky to be joined by David Rockland. So thank you, David, for joining us in today's webinar.
Hey, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Super excited for today's Webinar Wednesday. Big number 200. We've slowly been counting down the webinars lately, inching our way closer to this big milestone. We've got some great surprises coming up in today's webinar to celebrate. And yeah, thanks guys for joining us today. Really looking forward to the big webinar.
Yeah, we got some fun gifts for everyone. When we get to that slide, I'll pass it over to you, David. You can help deliver some of that good news for everyone. And we are streaming on YouTube live right now. So hi out there to some of our friends joining us from YouTube. Highly recommend subscribing to the Brilliant Directories YouTube channel. You can take a moment to go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. We'll drop a link in the comments now to make it easy for everyone. And it's a great way to get notified when these live events are taking place, when the webinar replays are posted online, tips of the week, feature tutorials, and more. And also a plus is once we have those YouTube live replays, they're immediately available after these webinars. And we do post them in the BD Facebook group. And we also encourage you and invite you to join us there. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. The group is growing tremendously. Lots of great questions being asked there. Fellow BD owners helping each other, asking for tips, suggestions, and feedback. I'm in there myself. It's a really positive and constructive group. So if you are working on your membership site, we invite everyone to join us there and to participate. All right. And just a little plug, if you do have a BD site, just wanted to encourage you to get the free Brilliant Directories app. You can head on over to your app store for Apple or Google Play and just search for Brilliant Directories after you log in. It's a great way to stay in touch with the pulse of your site. You can see new members joining, new revenue that comes in. And we do have some updates. We've been talking about this a little bit. We are making slow progress on an updated version of the app. The next iteration of this will give you live real-time pings when you do have new members or new revenues coming in through your site. So that'll be really awesome. You can get notified on the go in real time. You don't have to manually come in to check the app. For now, it's still a great way to kind of cure that impulse that you have if you're on the go and want to see all the new activity on your site. I'll pass things over to you, David, for webinar 200. We are giving away some free BD swag.
Yeah, so we've got some great BD swag over in the BD swag store. That's shop.brilliantdirectories.com. You don't need to actually pay for anything. You can use the coupon code webinar200. That will give you $20 off. And then you can also use the code free ship for free shipping. So we've got a bunch of products in the swag store. We've got cups, we've got koozies, we've got hats, we've got bottles, we've got notebooks, mouse pads, and so much more. So head on over there, use the code webinar200. You'll get a free $20 there. And then also use the code free ship for $30 worth of free shipping. So you can go ahead and grab some free swag from there.
Yep, that's great. Just make sure you use both coupon codes. One is for a discount on the product you select, and the free ship will take that up to $30 off on your shipping, which should cover most of the world, hopefully. Let's just check out the shop real quick, just because it's fun to kind of play around in here. The coffee cups are always fun. There's a kind of like a journaling notebook. I've seen a lot of people pick that up. You can never go wrong with a tumbler for your coffee on the go. One of my favorites, and I got it here with me, is the mouse pad and also the Bluetooth speaker. The Bluetooth speaker is actually smaller than it looks in the picture, but it's actually perfect for an accessory on your desk. So rather than playing music or jams through your laptop speakers, this is a great alternative here. But we invite anyone joining us and viewing the webinar right now to go to shop.brilliantdirectories.com and go ahead and use that promo code. I think it's one per user. And don't forget to use it with the free ship code as well. All right, good times here. And we do see a lot of new names and faces joining us. So welcome. Just a little bit about Webinar Wednesday. You know, the BD team is very busy pushing new updates and features week after week into the BD platform. Big shout out to you guys in the community. A lot of these updates are from your suggestions. And in Webinar Wednesday, we like to highlight and share with you some of the newer features that allow you to and help you grow your community a lot faster. So we'll cover topics such as how to increase traffic, convert visitors to members, identifying revenue opportunities, and more. Also, in Webinar Wednesdays, we like to answer your questions. So we will have plenty of time for a Q&A. So if you have a strategy question, a technical question, if you've hit a roadblock, if you just want to talk out an idea, if you're looking to make a small design tweak on your site, this is a great place. We usually do the 2 to 5 minute check if we can help you out in the webinar the best we can. And yeah, all questions are welcome. All right. And before we get to the tips for this week, we do have some lab updates to share. I think these lab updates are skewed a bit more towards technical or developers. Sometimes we have really easy and fun, beginner user updates, but I'll just breeze through these and share with you some of these updates. And also, if you have any questions about these updates, please feel free to type them into the chats, the comments here. All right. The first one at the top of the list, not much to show here, but if you're using the RSS feed for posts that comes as an add-on with Brilliant Directories, it now supports emojis and special characters. Up until now, emojis and special characters would get stripped from the RSS feed data, and now they will show as normal. This is really good if you're using your RSS feeds and aggregating your content to other platforms, or with some tools that let you automatically add those into emails. And now, obviously, emojis are super important. They're just as important as the title text or descriptions. They will be included with those feeds. The next one here is related to editing posts. There's a lot easier way now to edit posts. As the admin of the site, you can now see a quick link on the front end of your site to edit posts while you're navigating your site. It's easier if I kind of show you an example of this one. So over here now, when you're on the front end of your site, and you're logged in as the admin of your site, if you don't know how to get this toolbar, let's take one step back from that. In your admin area, click on the orange visit website link. And that is when you, the admin, the owner of the site, will get this nifty admin bar on the side here. And with this newer update, we can see here there are some options here. There is a new one for editing a post. We're looking at our website blogs here. We don't see one yet. We have to actually get to a specific post. So we'll go to this sample post number 8. And while we're navigating the site now, we will see this new edit post link here, and also edit listing, the user who published this post. So if we click on edit post, it will take us directly to the page where we can now edit the post further. It doesn't matter which member published it. We are the admin of the site. So if we need to make a correction or an alteration to a post, we have the freedom to do that. Prior to this, you would search for the post and do this from the admin, but now you can do it from the front end with that edit post link seen here. All right, this next one is related to security and actually helping your site save on bandwidth. We've hardened blockage for spam bots that are coming to your site, specifically spam bots that don't have any user agent names associated with them. Basically, those are, Google crawls your site and you want Google to crawl your site because it's going to rank your site. But there are a lot of unwanted bots crawling sites, and that wastes bandwidth in some cases. So we've always blocked them, but we just hardened that further, and that should help BD sites save a bit on bandwidth usage. The next one here is, again, for developers. If you're using the API that comes with your Brilliant Directory site, now you have the option whether you want to store the full API responses. This is very useful for developers who are doing debugging or trying to find errors. The problem is when you're storing API logs, it does take up some disk space. So if you're not actively checking your responses for debugging purposes, you may want to disable this. But let me show you where this setting is. Most people probably would want to have this disabled. And I think it's disabled by default here. But in your advanced settings now, you could do a quick search for, I think if you just search for API log, that'd be the easy way to do it. You have this setting here and it's off by default. If you would enable it, it will start saving the full responses given by the API, I think up to 5,000 records. And again, this is useful if you're a developer and you're doing debugging. And if you're not, you could probably just turn this off and save a bit of your disk space. I'll put the name of this setting here in the comments, this advanced setting, in case some of you are interested in going there directly. All right, this next one also, that's more skewed for developers, as we mentioned in the beginning. It's a way to check errors that you might have in your menus and forms on the front end of your site without those errors breaking the entire web page. We did this for widgets. I showed it in the previous webinar. Let me show you a quick example of what I'm referring to here. So now on the front end of your site, this is just a screenshot. If one of your forms, like your contact us form or your footer menu, has a PHP or some type of error in it, prior to this update, the entire web page would break. It would show a white screen. Now it's compartmentalized, and you'll see, again, for developers, this is very useful. You'll be able to see if any of your custom code changers may have broken the form or the menu, and that should give you a better idea of where the issue is coming from, rather than the whole page showing blank white. You know exactly where to go look to remedy a resolution for that error, and it should allow you to code more efficiently, knowing where the error is coming from. So this is a nice quality of life features for developers. All right, this next one here is how you connect your domain name. So if you've connected a custom domain name to your Brilliant Directory site, you know you've done it from one of two ways. You've pointed your name servers to Brilliant Directories, or you've pointed to an A record, an IP address. And there's going to be a new way to do this coming very soon, which is the CNAME method. And this is very similar to the A record, but the benefit of this, and the reason I'm mentioning this, is connecting via CNAME is actually going to be the genesis for how we support subfolder hosting. Those of you who have existing sites like a WordPress site, and you're looking to just load your Brilliant Directory site on your WordPress site instead of connecting it to a subdomain, this will be the beginnings of that. So the first step here is to support CNAME connection method for domains, and that will segue into the subfolder hosting option that we will later offer on the heels of that. All right, and this next one here is a quality of life. It's related to the advanced settings. We know there are tons of advanced settings in the Brilliant Directories advanced settings section, and we can see it here. I was just here in this section, and it's great. There's a lot of advanced settings. There's actually 400. I'm seeing 423. I think it's just fewer that are public. But what we're going to do and what we're working on is better grouping and compartmentalizing the advanced settings. So they'll be tabbed and also in subsettings. So it'll be a little bit more like your general settings and the design settings, not just a long list. And then we'll be able to document this a lot better in our support documentation. So for each advanced setting, we'll be able to pin it to the tab that it's in and the subsection that it's within as well. And we'll probably improve this further over time. But the 200 plus advanced settings that you'll see will have better organization and better grouping very soon. And lastly, at the beginning of this year, we've been focused on behind the scenes on a few WordPress plugins that we're developing. 2 have already been released. I think I have a screenshot here. Yeah, the first 2 on here, a cute little plugin screenshots here, or cover shots. The first one was if you have WooCommerce for an e-commerce store on your WordPress, you can send your customer data to be members on your BD site. The other one that was recently released is migrating your WordPress posts to your Brilliant Directory site. So if you're migrating from WordPress to Brilliant Directories, rather than doing a CSV export, you can just with a couple clicks export all those blogs or posts to your Brilliant Directory site. The next one that's coming up should be early June, just a couple weeks away, 2 or 3 weeks away. There are a lot of popular form plugins with WordPress. There's WP Forms, Gravity Forms. The first one we're syncing with is Contact Form 7. And what this plugin is going to allow you to do is if you have forms on your WordPress site, you'll be able to send those submissions to your BD site. You'll actually be able to sync those forms as they're submitted and send that data to your BD site. And this is going to be really cool because you'll be able to start either create member records or create leads, the leads that you sell to your members. So this will give you a lot more, if you have WordPress sites, a lot more places online to capture new members or to generate leads from landing pages that you might be more familiar with creating using WordPress and then sending that to your Brilliant Directory site. The next 2 that we're hoping for, or actually we will have after the WordPress sync forms, is the subfolder, the one where you can choose a URL on your existing WordPress site and load your BD site there. And the last one will be a single sign-on plugin. So if you have tools like WooCommerce or BuddyPress or other things where users register on your WordPress site, you'll be able to SSO single sign them on to your BD site and vice versa. And I think this kind of encapsulates and covers all the WordPress plugins that we're looking to release this year in 2025. And for further, we'll take it from there based on demand and suggestions and priority. So lots of things underway there, lots of good stuff. And of course, lots more updates underway. A lot of these were more dev skewed, but we have a lot of fun ones coming that I always like to share. But big shout out to the BD community. A lot of these updates are from your suggestions and things you find or bring up. So thank you guys very much for that.
All right. Instead of a normal tip of the week this time, or some BD quick tips to celebrate the 200th webinar Wednesday that we've done here, we thought it might be fun just to highlight some of our favorite previous tips of the week. We've done a lot over the course of doing these webinar Wednesdays, and a few of them, really more than a few, have stood out to us. So it's difficult to kind of narrow that list down to just 3, but we picked 3 that we thought kind of covered some various topics here and would be useful both to new BD users as well as existing BD users. If you've had a site for 1 month or 10 years, all of these tips should be relevant to just about everybody. The last one is my personal favorite. I think it's the most invaluable tip of the week we've ever done, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. The first one here, optimizing SEO, where to make simple SEO edits. So this was a full step-by-step guide showing you exactly where you can edit all of your website's SEO content. There's a bunch of different places depending on what SEO elements you're looking to optimize, but we kind of went through just about every single area you might want to go into to customize some of the default SEO on the website, from the homepage to static web pages to dynamic web pages like your search result pages on your site and everything in between. So this is great for anybody who's just looking to optimize as best as possible your SEO on your website, looking to improve your search visibility, try to get some more organic traffic to your website. I will say the default SEO settings for BD sites are generally good for 99% of sites, at least when you're starting out. Once you get the ball rolling, maybe there's a few things here and there that you might notice you might want to tweak and optimize a bit more. And that's really where this tip of the week can come in handy. If you're just starting out, I really wouldn't focus too much on SEO. The system does a great job out of the box, but there's a bunch of SEO options in the admin area so that you still have full control over everything. So this tip of the week, we really walked through each and every one of those areas and explained why you might want to update some of those options in those various areas. So this is also a very easy one to follow if you're tech savvy or not too tech savvy. So really anybody, if you're looking to optimize your website's SEO, this was a great one to dive into.
Let me grab the links for these right here, and I'll post it in the comments so you guys can save these. And in case you just caught up with us, what we're sharing is some of our favorite hits of tips we've had in the past that on their own are their own full-fledged videos. This one was 40 minutes long. Feel free to watch at a 1.5x speed. I'll drop this in the comments here. And just to mention here, when you come here, there is a table of contents. If you want to fast forward to certain timestamps of this video, you can see the timestamps here and fast forward accordingly. And just one tip, actually, speaking about SEO. So when you're working on any project, you obviously want to optimize more and more to edge for different things that you're trying to accomplish. I think SEO is actually, number 3 or 4 on the list, especially when you're just starting out. None of it's important, but when you're starting out, what we want to do first is, 1, get the site online, connect our domain, and just get something online. Then we want to refine for messaging. Does our homepage make sense? Do visitors understand what they can do on the site? Can the members who we want to join our site know that they should join our site? Are we converting the percentage that we're looking to convert? Are we looking for a 3% conversion rate or 10% conversion rate based on the amount of traffic that's coming to our site? And then SEO, I think, becomes 3 or 4, because first you want to focus on having a good conversion flow and that your site is working for its intended intended purpose. Then we can start edging for creating unique content, ranking for long tail and short tail keywords, and so on. So just wanted to touch more on SEO strategy as where it relates to the priority list of launching and starting a membership site or directory. But it is certainly important, and it is something that you want to edge for as your site and community grow and develop.
Yeah, great insights there. The second one here, our second favorite tip of the week that we did in the past, reducing churn. Every website, every business has some amount of churn. It's inevitable, but there are some things that you can do, some strategies you can follow to try to re-engage some of your inactive members. And so that's what we went through in this tip of the week. We went through some methods to try to get some of those inactive members back to your website. We shared a few different email templates that you could literally copy and paste, although I would suggest tweaking them a little bit, make them a little bit more specific to your website, your target demographic, your members. But we provided email templates, some ideas on exclusive offers that you could extend to your inactive members, and just overall a bunch of ways to try to re-engage them. So this is really great if you're starting to notice a dip in your member logins or consistent engagement from your members. Also, if you just have a lot of members on your website, or maybe you imported a lot of members, you reached out to them, you got an initial bump in engagement and traffic, and that slowly started to die off. You might want to take a look at this video. There's a lot of great strategies, like I mentioned. I think one of the most important elements in this video that we did mention was that it's actually more cost effective to try to re-engage your inactive or your lost members rather than trying to acquire new members, whether that's through advertising or any other sort of marketing method, whether it's financial or a time cost. It's always more effective to try to re-engage your inactive members. They were already interested at one point. You just got to keep them interested. So this was a great tip of the week. I really recommend everybody watch it, no matter which stage you are in your website journey. There's a lot of really great ready to use ideas that you can implement right away.
Let's find this one in the blog here. I'll grab the link real quick. And I think we could just look for reduced churn. And yeah, you spend so much time, marketing and getting someone to sign up. We were just talking about, focusing on getting that conversion high. And, sometimes that flame needs to be reignited with members. They're thinking about leaving, or they're not seeing the value that they're getting, especially for paid members. So what we covered in this one, re-engaging inactive members. These are members who may have canceled or who just may have not visited the site in a long time. And you can check like when the last login date was, maybe months ago. And it gives you some tips on, again, how to re-engage them, bring them back, and reestablish that value that they initially signed up for on your site, and hopefully turn them into, an advocate or an ambassador of your site. That's the ultimate goal, is to get that word of mouth advertising from existing members to recruit new signups to your site. So yeah, this is a great one. Thanks for choosing this one, David.
Yeah, now on to number 3, my personal favorite. I really think nothing comes close in terms of just how invaluable this one was, especially for lead gen sites. That's really what this one was geared toward. It was just front to back, top to bottom list of best practices for lead gen sites. The thing we really kind of touched on in this one was not just the importance, but also how to educate through the verbiage on your site, through the information, everything that you're providing on the front end of your website, the importance of educating both the general users, the visitors of your website, and your members as well. So, for example, if it's, let's say, a lawyer directory, an attorney directory, it's important to educate both the general users who are looking for an attorney, as well as your members, your registered members, the attorneys on your website, in terms of, for the visitors, what they can expect when they submit a lead or a quote request or whatever it might be, and what your members can expect. If you're going to be selling the leads to them, how can they know that you've done as much as you can do, being the website owner, the administrator, the manager, to ensure that they're buying qualified leads? So this was a great tip of the week. What we actually did, and what I think provided the most value in this one, was we went into the Wayback Machine to take a look at an old lead gen site. It was Interior Design Pros, a directory for finding interior designers. And On that site, they were selling leads for generally much higher than kind of the normal market rate. And we kind of went through step by step showing old screenshots from that website of how they were able to justify selling leads for as much as they were. So this was a great one. A lot of actionable steps in this tip of the week for not just boosting lead sales, but also generating more leads as well. And then we also, through those screenshots, went into the actual verbiage that was used throughout the website, kind of explaining and justifying why both the visitors as well as the members, how they both can benefit from utilizing the site and the value that the website offers both of those user groups.
Let's take a step back for a second. Those of you listening and watching now, write in the comments if you are just right, selling leads, not selling leads, or I don't even know what a lead is. Just type that in the comments, right? Just to give us a sense of if you have a context of what it means to sell leads through your site to your professional business members. While you guys are doing that, I'll go ahead and get a link to this video that we had done in the previous webinar. But based on your answers, David and I have been talking about, okay, Nicola says, I don't even know what a lead is. Roger says, not selling leads. This might give us a sense of if we need to do a tip of the week and a refresher course on leads.
There we go. I posted the link in the chat.
Okay, great. Effectively, leads for most BD site owners, leads is the majority of the revenue that is generated. So think of an Angie's List or Angie, think of Yelp, think of Yellow Pages, think of Thumbtack. Professionals join those sites, and these sites do not give leads to them for free. They're either paying to be listed or they're paying for leads that come in. A consumer comes and says, hey, I need a handyman to put my IKEA bed together. And the handyman get that lead and they're paying $5 or $10 or $20 for that lead. Obviously something nominal because not every lead is a guarantee for a client or a job. So it needs to be somewhere where they can roll the dice just so they can attempt to sell their services. So Don is saying he hasn't set up leads. I'm seeing a lot of people might not have a total sense of what the leads are for. Jim says he's trying to sell leads. If you're trying to sell leads, Jim, watch this video that David has shared with us here on how to generate and sell more leads, of the best practices for that. But yeah, I think maybe in one of the upcoming webinars, we'll do a refresher on leads. And most sites, unless you're a private organization and using BD as like a private consumer community, and you're not really doing B2C or B2B, it might not be relevant. But for the vast majority of BD users, selling leads is a viable revenue channel. And we'll definitely, from what I'm seeing here, we'll cover it in a future webinar. All right, super. So now we'll move on to the questions and answers, the Q&A section. Thank you, David, for putting together that great list. If you would like us to unmute your microphone, join us at brilliantdirectories.com/stream. And in the comments, type in question in all caps. We can unmute your microphone, bring you to the stage here, and you can ask your question verbally. Otherwise, we do have some questions that commenters have typed in here. And yeah, feel free to ask your questions and we'll get to as many questions as we can. We do have plenty of time left in the webinar. We have a long question here from Brad. I'll do my best to answer this one. Brad's asking question about updating widgets via the API, actually more of a feature suggestion. Can we have the option to lock widgets so they can't be updated via the API, or maybe have them locked by default and then we can unlock them? So this is a great suggestion. We'll pass it on to the team. The most important thing with your API is to keep it a secret. First of all, APIs are private. We only give you the string of the API key once. If you're ever afraid that the API key has been compromised, you can delete it and recreate a new one. It's also best practices, every 3 to 6 months, even if you don't have any fears of your API being leaked or compromised, just like passwords, it's a good idea just to update them periodically. But that is a good suggestion, Brad, and we will certainly pass that on to the team, an API lock on editing or updating existing widgets on your site. So thank you for that suggestion. All right, Reno Giants. John's sharing his site with us. Let's actually take a look at that together for selling leads. Let's see here, renogiants.com. Put that in the comments. I think this is Reno, Nevada. So, this is Renovation Experts. Excuse me, not Reno, Nevada. It's Reno Giants, Renovation Experts. So it looks here like he's generating leads here, and I suspect that he is reselling these leads to professionals in his network. Let's click on Find a Contractor here. So yeah, he's got quite a robust list. He's got about 48,000 contractors listed here. So yeah, a user may come here and want to search themselves, or using the search feature, we can see the homepage here is specifically geared towards, getting a quote, and it's focused on getting quotes. And the BD site will do the matching, and based on the location and the service requested, like bathroom remodeling. Jim, thanks for sharing this example. It's a perfect example for a lead gen a site and plus a directory. The BD system based on the location. I'll just do a Reno, Nevada for fun there. Location and the category selected. This lead will be sent to the 48,000 members who match that location and category. So just a handful of the members who match the criteria, and they'll have an opportunity to purchase that lead. So great share there. All right, Michael is joined with us in the studio here. I'm going to add you to the stage. How are you doing today, Michael?
Hey, doing great. Appreciate your hosting webinar 200. This is a pretty exciting webinar.
Yeah, thanks for being with us.
So my site is in the B2B space. So in this space, while everyone appreciates credit cards and PayPal and all the wallets, ACH is by far the number one payment method. And, I saw in the back end, it says coming soon. And I know you announced on one of the webinars, ACH was coming. I was just hoping to get a little update on what you see there.
Yeah, no, it is coming. It is in the works. I can see it coming this 2025. And the path that we're going to use to get there is actually going to be like via Stripe. With Stripe, you can unlock other payment methods. If you have Stripe, you can pay with credit card. That's standard. That's always going to be the case. But for example, you can unlock what they call different wallets or ways to pay. For example, with Google or Apple Pay, if you're on an Apple or Android device, you can unlock those methods. And one of them is with ACH or bank transfer, where they put their routing number and their checking account number. So once we have the mechanisms in place, which can allow you to unlock whatever wallets you want within your Stripe, then those would show as acceptable forms of payment methods on the checkout page. So we're a couple steps away from that, but that is the direction.
No, I know there's a lot of details. So, and the other question I had, and I think I know the answer, but I'll ask it anyways. I'm looking to add a forum to my site to be able to generate a little more interaction between members. They had a functionality available within BD or not so much?
Yes, they're maybe not a formal forum, but it touches on the notes of what you need for a forum. Let me show you what I mean here. So with your BD site, there is a post type. Let me just find the one that I want to use as an example. There's a discussions post type. And what it allows you to do, basically, I'll just click on here as an example. You can have categories. Of course, you can make it like feature requests. I don't know what your categories might be.
Sure.
But it's almost like a smaller version of blog posts. So someone can create a post called like "Welcome to our community." It could be you, and then members can comment on these posts as they see fit. So nice to be here, and you can comment. And then, of course, people can get notified when there's a new comment. You can reply to comments. You could say, "Good to see you here." So you can allow members to post discussions. Oops.
Yeah.
You can allow members to post discussions, and I don't know why that's tripping up there, but and also comment. So with that aspect of commenting and posting discussions, and also get notified if they get replies to their comments, right? That's how you get that engagement.
Okay, so some basic functionality, nothing too elaborate.
Exactly. And let me just take it one step further. Let me go to edit post here. Let's just change, like, this is welcome to our community. We could say, like, does anyone have a barbecue for sale? And you could just, and now it's a discussion, right? So what you could do if you really wanted to tighten it up a bit is you could just make it like a title or just the discussion content, so it's not both, just to simplify it further. I've seen people use this for like more like Twitter. Also, they get rid of the content and it's only the title, and then people leave comments based on the title and things like that. So it's a
Right. Yeah, I was just kind of scoping it out. I was trying to figure out whether to go with a third-party platform with a ton of functionality or do something basic. Okay. And then are there any other payment methods that are on the very near horizon, or is everything pretty well in development?
We just launched Razor Pay. What we're trying to do is we really want to unlock that Stripe version, because what that's going to allow allow us to do is then do the same thing with PayPal and other variations of PayPal, and it'll allow us to support newer payment gateways as well. So as soon as we just bridge that gap between where we're trying to go with that Stripe upgrade,
That's going to be huge.
yeah, that should domino for other gateways being more easily and more quickly released into the BD platform.
Okay, great. Well, I love it. I've done a lot of software development on this end, and I know there's a lot of details. So
All right, we appreciate you, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
take care.
All right, good stuff there. Thanks for the questions, Michael. Good questions too, revenue questions. So that's good. Let's see here. We got some starred questions. U.S. Quail Cooperative is asking, can you charge free users to get matched? I know you can charge the free business listing member, but I want to charge one-time visitors to submit a query while also charging the business. I've seen somebody do a variation of this where they create a digital product, and after the purchase of the digital product, they can submit the get matched form one time. That the confirmation page is the get matched form, and they do something where it creates the lead. I've also seen people use the pay per post feature, and what they do is with pay per post, the free member pays to create the post, like $1, that's to submit their lead, and then using the BD API or webhooks, they convert that post to a lead that gets created in their system. So they're kind of taking that inquiry through a workflow. The user has to do pay per post. That might be the easiest way. And then with webhooks and the API using Zapier or doing it internally, you generate a lead from that quote unquote post that was created. And of course, it's not a public post. It's just a post that's created to initiate the lead creation. So there are a couple workaround ways to do that. Skill level, maybe low, medium, actually, because it's more just configuration stuff. You're not really doing any heavy-handed coding. So those would kind of be two different methods that you can to charge free users to initiate a lead in that your business members can then pay for on the opposite side. All right. Daryl's asking, how do you create a custom receipt for a digital download? Currently, purchasers get the same receipt as a membership purchase. So the receipt should show the product that was purchased. Let's actually go here. There aren't many ways to let's just go to the transaction here too. There aren't many things to customize. It's pretty boilerplate. It has your logo on it. Let me just download this invoice here as an example. So the invoice shows the status, for example, paid. It would have your logo or your website name here, standard information like the invoice ID, which is generated from the system. Invoice 2, that would have the user's name, billing address if they've provided one. And then here's an example of the digital product or donation in this case. This is the description of what they purchased. So whether it's a membership plan purchase or a one-time lead purchase or digital product, this would be basically it. There isn't much to customize with regards to the receipt. It would be this invoice. I've seen people do a few small modifications. They had to add stuff for like EU, being in the EU or something like that. They emailed the support team, but there wasn't anything any big changes made to these invoices, but it will say the specific product name that they purchased here as a simple invoice receipt. I know that doesn't exactly answer your question, but hopefully it provides a little more guidance for you on that. All right. Feel free to type in your questions. I see Brad's joined the stage. I'm going to add you to the chat here.
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, loud and clear. How's it going today?
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Where are you calling in from?
Phoenix.
All right.
So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of clarify because I about my API widget updating thing. So it's not necessarily that obviously you should always be concerned if your API key is lost, but that wasn't really the point of it. Like, because basically we ran into a situation because we have multiple directories. And so I'm going to have my developer, write some API calls and scripts to update widgets. And like the thought went through my mind, it's like if he updates widget 92 on directory A, but he needs to update like widget 98 on directory B. And if he like mistypes something, it could like wipe out like a super important like customized widget very easily. Because like in the API call, the main key that you use to like update the widget is just putting in the widget ID. Or, I mean, I guess the other thing you could do, like, because you can put in the widget name, but then that'll update the name, I'm pretty sure. So like maybe if there's like 2 pieces of information that had to match, but I don't know. My thought was kind of having them locked by default, and then you could like unlock them and so forth. So that was the use case, because I didn't see anywhere like in the API logs or anything. It shows the response, but it doesn't show what the old widget data is. And so something important could be potentially lost via a very simple mistake.
No, I like your suggestion a lot. It makes a lot of sense, especially if you put a lot of widgets are basically where your custom code is. So I can understand that. Well, no, I think it's a valid suggestion. And that this was a recent update. It's just from the last month or a couple months or so. So that's a great suggestion. Another thing, just to ease your mind a bit, coming on the heels of, I don't know if the revisions for post type code we recently released, where it saves your revision history. You can revert back to a previous date. That's also going to be available in the coming month or so for widgets as well.
Okay.
That's
great.
Again, it's not a silver bullet, but it will add some relief in the case of an emergency, something gets overwritten. But I also think that your lock widget would be a nice setting for you to have as well.
Yeah, because I think most people are only going to update like a handful of them and not necessarily need to access a majority of them. And so it's just an easy way to eliminate mistakes.
Hey, one more question for you, Brad.
Yeah.
So because it's so new that I haven't seen so many use cases for it, but have you been using the API to update your widgets right now?
You know, we have, but we found a couple small little things. And so I've been working with support, and they were like really good on getting those updated. And so we found one last little thing that I think Princella is working on right now. So we were sending like the update call to the widget. And so like in the back end of BD, if you're looking at the widget, you can see the update, but then it doesn't actually, like, even though it shows in the widget, you have to either hit save or refresh on the site cache to like make it live on the site. So it's like, it's almost getting like stuck at the very, very last thing.
I understand. It's updating in the database, but it's not showing you the change on the live site until you hit refresh cache or something.
Yeah, and I've waited like 24 hours so far. And so, but anyways, once you hit save, I'm sure it's a really simple fix, but it's going to be awesome when we can let all that stuff rip.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you supporting us and helping you make us make that feature better. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. You can go back to yours.
All right. Good stuff there. All right. Let's see. We got some more comments in. Let me check them out here. All right, let's see. We got one here from Nicola. Let me get this ticker off the screen here. Nicola's asking, hey guys, I'm interested in exploring the capabilities of your platform to facilitate member-to-member connections through introduction features. Specifically, I would like to understand if there's a way to set up an automated system that assigns 5 to 6 members to each group on a monthly basis. I'm thinking, okay, this sounds like a business network where people can and then coordinate and work together.
They did have a follow-up comment,
Oh, okay.
which we
Perfect.
now have on the screen.
Awesome. The goal would be to match members based on complementary, not competing businesses, while also including diversity and experience levels, pairing both established and emerging entrepreneurs. Yeah, like a business network, just because of what I was thinking here. This type of structured networking and peer-to-peer connection would be highly valuable for the members of my directory. I do have a method where this could work. Again, it's not built for this, but what you could do, there's a couple things you can do. One is I think we were mentioning the discussions just a moment ago. What you could do is create a discussions channel just for those 5 or 6 people, and just give those 5 or 6 people access to post in that discussions area and have conversations through making posts and commenting with each other. You can encourage them to just chat within their little cohort or group. Or if you really wanted to hardline it, you could, make those 5 or 6 members one membership plan, and they can only contact each other, see each other. They can only see their posts and their discussions. Effectively, those 5 or 6 members are their entire universe in your private community. Or you can just encourage them and just call it like, the purple group or the red group or the orange team, and they're encouraged to just chat within their orange team post types or discussions, even though they could see other Teams discussions. But again, you can really hardline it and make it members only. And just to show you an example of how that would work, I'll share how to make your site members only webinar that we have on Brilliant Directories, and that should provide you with some guidance. Yeah, you definitely can do that. Again, you can lock people into certain post types and members they can see. Here's a good webinar. This one's even a little dated, but it should, the methodology of how you do this would still be the same. Let me paste this into the comments here. Yeah, I've seen this done before. I've seen someone, it was a friend of mine, they created 8 Women, 8 Weeks, and it was a business networking women's group through BD. I think they've moved on to something else since then, but they were able to group 8 women, and then they had challenges to grow professionally over a pre-planned 8-week course to empower each other and themselves. I've seen it done before, and I think that's a great idea too. Great question there. While we're waiting for comments, just want to remind everyone, this is webinar 200. So we want to make sure everyone gets a little piece of BD swag today. You can go to shop.brilliantdirectories.com. Use both coupon codes, both webinar 200 and free ship. That will give you free shipping up to $30. Pick up a hat, fanny pack, Bluetooth speaker. I'm a big fan of the mouse pad, but you can leave here today just with some free BD swag. All right, Colette's got a question up for us. Colette, any ideas how we could match a single member to a particular event so we could use webhooks to activate emails? Colette, can you ask a follow-up question? Can you elaborate a little bit more on what are we matching a single member for? So it's a recommendation for them to attend the event. For example, is it based on category or is it based on location? I will share with you a webinar that we did. David, if you can help me. It's the webinar we did on it's with MailerLite, members can subscribe to different post types. Here we go. Yes, this was it. It also worked with the RSS feed, but where members can subscribe to different post type categories, for example, like sporting events, and they can get notified via email when those sporting events are published on your site. So this would work. Thank you, Brad, for that follow-up there. So what we cover here is using actually a third-party tool, MailerLite, or also using a tool like Pabbly, where a member can choose to quote unquote subscribe to receiving updates of again, certain posts and certain categories within that post, like sporting events. And an email can be sent. And then this works with your RSS feed because the RSS feed carries the details of that information. And you can use tools like MailerLite to send an email. You can even potentially use SMS tools or texting tools like TextMagic if you wanted to send a text message instead of an email. But there are ways and workarounds to achieve workflows like that. All right, good question there. All right. Not too many questions today, and that's okay. Everyone is excited about the swag giveaway. I think, yeah, we're at the top of the hour here, or the bottom of the hour, I should say. We'll stop it there. If you do have more questions, we do encourage you to ask them in the Brilliant Directories Facebook group. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. We will post the replay of this webinar in the group just shortly after here. And for those of you that joined us on YouTube, thank you. We did get a lot of questions there from viewers on YouTube, so good to see you there. You can also join us at brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube to subscribe to the Brilliant Directories YouTube channel. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. That will be in this month of May. So on behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, thank you so much for joining the webinar. Don't forget to pick up your BD swag. Let's have some of that outro music that we're so accustomed to now. And I'll switch on over to the slide for the swag. Again, go to shop.brilliantdirectories.com. Use the 2 codes, webinar 200, amazing 200 webinars in the books, and also use free ship to get free shipping on that order. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great day and a brilliant week.